Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and this is Movie Crap. This is my weekly movie news show where I talk about movie news, trailers, and articles that I would like to talk about, and that pique some interest of mine, and I feel like I will talk about. This is a slower news week, or at least, so not a lot of stuff, but there's some stuff, and I'm going to talk about them. Alright, so the first thing is that the Lego Billion Brick Race is going to be directed by Jorge Gutierrez, who directed Book of Life. This sounds like a cool idea. I don't know much about it other than it's a Lego race movie. The only thing I don't love about it is clearly it's going to be animated in that Lego way, not in like his cool, interesting character design way he did Book of Life. So I'm disappointed in that. I assume Book of Life 2 is probably going to happen first or something. I don't know how that all fits in, but I at least am happy for him because the Lego franchise seems pretty solid at this point. So I don't know how Ninjago is going to do. I'm kind of happy they're getting an interesting director like him to do the Lego Billion Brick Race, which is probably a movie I'd probably shrug off, but with a director like him, I'm a little more interested. Not sure how much he would give us if he's not giving us his interesting character design. Like without that, I still like him as a director, but I think to take a director like Gendy or Jorge Gutierrez and take away their unique design, I'm a little less interested in that. I'm happy for him that he got this job, I guess. But I think he's a good fit for it. I think he'll make a good movie. It's just not as exciting as a movie that he would, design and develop completely by himself, but whatever. Netflix has $20 billion in debt. This came out on Sunday. If you ever wondered, hey, Netflix seems to spend a lot on shows and movies and things, how can they afford to do that? Apparently it's not just because they're really successful at getting subscribers, it's also because they have $20 billion in debt to do those things, so which doesn't sound like they can pay that off, really, and it makes me nervous about the company as a whole, but it does kind of sort of explain a lot, so that's something that came out. It also makes me think hey, maybe you guys should release your movies in theaters, since it seems like you have a bit of a revenue problem. I don't know, be a nice way to make revenue. I mean, not $20 billion, but it would get closer, at least. I didn't talk about this trailer, and I should have, is the Close Enough trailer, which is the new series from J.G. Quintel. Obviously, I've done the regularity of Regular Show, and I'm a noted Regular Show fan, but the Close Enough trailer looks really good to me. I actually think it's kind of interesting because Regular Show ended, and I said this, I think, on Pizza Party Podcast, but I thought I'd just put it on here also because I didn't get to speak about it, but Regular Show did end right before my daughter was born, and it seemed to kind of represent the time between college and beginning of adulthood, I guess, when my daughter was born, and I related a lot to that show and really loved Regular Show quite a bit, and it feels Close Enough, J.G. Quintel and I are kind of in the same place, similar place, I guess, not the exact same, clearly he's doing a lot better than me, life-wise, and it will be interesting to follow that. But the main thing, I brought this up before, that kid has to age, because it's interesting. You can tell that Mordecai and Rigby definitely aged. They didn't show it through their character design, but with a kid, you definitely need to show that kid growing up, and I think it could be really interesting because he does really well. J.G. Quintel was showing relationships, the changes over time of relationships, and how you act with certain things, and I think that could be really cool. I'm very excited for it. It looks a little more looter than Regular Show, but it feels like more of a natural evolution to me. Also, I like that Jason Mantzoukas, who is obviously in the Regular Show movie and did, I think, a few other voices for Regular Show, is coming over, and I like him as a voice on Regular Show, so I think he's bringing over kind of cool people, and it looks like the same kind of design. I think that's kind of the J.G. Quintel house style. I'm happy to see him kind of evolve as a creator, and I think it'll be a cool show. I'm really excited for it. The teaser trailer for Darren Aronofsky's Mother, which comes out in kind of soon, and we haven't even seen a real trailer for, but I think we're getting a trailer for next week or something, hopefully. But the teaser for that with Jennifer Lawrence, it has Jennifer Lawrence, we still haven't had a trailer. I hope this movie's good. That makes me very nervous. But anyway, the teaser for Mother, which is the new Darren Aronofsky movie, has come out. I actually think it looks pretty cool, but I still have no clue what it's about, and I'm very curious to see it. I will see any Darren Aronofsky movie, but I am a little nervous at this point. Hey, what's up? I had to insert this in here, but the trailer for Mary and the Witch's Flower, which is the new film from the director of The Secret World of Arrietty, and When Marnie Was There, and was a former Studio Ghibli director, one that Studio Ghibli personally, and for my taste, they should have had more faith in. But a new studio, Studio Ponoc, I'm going to say it down here, which is a new studio formed from several artists and producers from Studio Ghibli. This is going to be their first movie. You should really check the trailer out. It looks really cool. It looks a lot style-wise, at least, like a Studio Ghibli film. And G-Kids has bought the North American distribution rights. You can watch a trailer. No one knows when this is going to be released. I was always disappointed that this director only kind of got 2 films. I was wondering what was going to happen to him, but it looks like he definitely has a new movie that's done enough to have a trailer, and it's going to be released in North America. I'm very excited for that. If you're an animation fan and a Studio Ghibli fan, this is awesome news. It's exciting to have a new kind of cool studio, kind of like how the people from Topcraft went and made Studio Ghibli. Now this begets a whole new studio, Studio Ponoc, I believe, studio whatever. It gets me excited for a whole new awesome studio from what's left of Studio Ghibli and what that studio could have to offer for us in the coming years, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Episode 9 is apparently getting a rewrite. It seems most things I've read about this seem to go, oh, well, a lot has changed since Carrie Fisher died and stuff, so they had to rewrite it, but I'm also like, maybe it's better called the Book of Henry rewrite, because I think they're like, shit, we hired Colin Trevorrow, or whatever the fuck, to do episode 9. We should have a much better script to at least make this a little less awful. I kind of feel like that's probably what's going on, especially because there's a lot of doubt in Lucasfilm after the whole Ron Howard, Phil Lord, Chris Miller thing. So I sort of think this is a bit of that. Kind of interesting. They don't want any of the Colin Trevorrow writers. They got an outside writer who did a movie called Wonder, which is going to have Jacob Tremblay and Julia Roberts in it, and has written a bunch of stuff for the BBC. Hopefully rewrite episode 9 and hopefully also make it a lot better. If you're wondering about the Edge of Tomorrow title change, which seemed to be kind of a studio marketing thing, was actually the studio marketing is why it was called Edge of Tomorrow, and Doug Liman, their director, wanted it to be called Live, Die, Repeat, and he actually got them to change it for the DVD release. So it was not actually the studio, it was actually him, and it seems like something that never happened. He was behind the whole thing. The sequel will be called Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat. The director actually wanted it to be called Live, Die, Repeat, believe it or not, which I think is kind of interesting. For those of you wondering, Clint Howard will be in the Han Solo movie, which is probably the best news other than that Warwick Davis is in the Han Solo movie also, about the Ron Howard sort of directed Han Solo movie. So Clint Howard will be in that. I'm very happy about that. There was a Death Wish trailer that came out. This is the remake of Death Wish starring Bruce Willis, directed by Eli Roth, and written by Joe Cornihan. And that seemed like maybe it could be something, but this just looks like kind of a dumb action movie called Death Wish. Other than the setup, it seems to have nothing to do with the Charles Bronson original, which has a lot to do with mourning and loss. Feels like a combination of like the Death Wish sequels or Death Wish 3, but trying to make it all cool and actiony in 2017. It also feels like something that, your racist uncle would be really into, and trying to have fun with that, which is like, guys, like, what the fuck? I actually enjoy watching Death Wish 1 and Death Wish, I think it's 3 or something. I enjoy seeing those movies, and I do not even want to see this at all. Like, I want to see it, like, because I'm shocked that they fucked it up so bad. Like, holy fuck. It looks like they messed it up, and they just made a shitty Bruce Willis action movie, like another bad Die Hard sequel or something, but it's called Death Wish. I guess I should have expected them to screw up Death Wish, but it seemed like such an easy premise to not screw up. But, okay, so box office report thing. This past weekend was Dunkirk was number 1 again at 26 million, breaking 100 million. The Emoji Movie came in at number 2, which I feel like they probably liked better than it being at number 1, just so they can make another stupid poop joke, which I think Cartoon Crew did make that stupid poop joke. Girls Trip still holds pretty well. Only went down 37% at 65 million, which is really good for a movie budget at only 19. Atomic Blonde made 18 million at number 4. It wasn't really, kind of at the end of summer, so nothing really that cool going on. Valerian is still out, so that's... Jaume Collet-Serra is not going to be directing Suicide Squad 2. It was rumored that he was the frontrunner for a long time. He's going to be doing the Jungle Cruise movie with The Rock. To be honest, I think I'd much rather have him do a movie with The Rock than Suicide Squad 2, and I like him more than I'd like there to actually be a Suicide Squad 2. So who knows what they're going to do with Suicide Squad 2. I have read that Will Smith actually, believe it or not, really would like to work with Mel Gibson, so that is actually a possibility more than you'd ever think it would be. You'd probably there's no way. Apparently he does. And even The Accountant at one time was going to star Will Smith and be directed by Mel Gibson. Apparently The Accountant was like a script that like everybody wanted to make, which I still do not. I saw The Accountant, I don't get that. But so Suicide Squad is still without a director, and Jomaine Colette Serra has moved on to another project. There was kind of some Mystery Science Theater news. No, it wasn't that season 12 was approved. It was that the new box set from Shout Factory might be the last Mystery Science Theater DVD box set. Not because DVDs are kind of an outdated format or anything like that. It's because actually there are no more episodes to release, and the episodes that they've been trying to get the rights to, actually they haven't been able to. So they're going to make a disc of all the host segments of those episodes, but not the actual riffing. It's kind of a sad day, but the Mystery Science Theater is kind of in a weird fandom place now where we're not sure if season 12 is coming back. This is going to be the last box set, so we're in an interesting kind of thin ice kind of idea right now. Some of the ones that can't get released are real classics like Attack of the Eye Creatures or the Eye Creatures and Rocket Ship XM, which was the first one of Kevin Murphy, who's one of my favorites on that show. So yeah, I'm a little sad about that. Apparently the Transformers writers room, if you remember, they had a writers room for Transformers that involved a lot of people, including Robert Kirkman, has been dismantled, and some people say it was just to flesh out the script for The Last Night. Some people have said it's to flesh out an expanded universe of Transformers movies. They're still supposedly making that Bumblebee movie. I think John Cena got cast recently, but apparently the writers room has been dismantled and they're not going to look into making as many Transformers spin-offs because of the lack of success of Transformers 5. So it did take a lot of Transformers movies for that to happen, and I actually sort of understand why they thought they could make all those spin-offs on a financial level, not on a creative or level of having a soul and infecting the masses kind of level. I think in that level it's awful. But so there's some faith in Hollywood is that there's not probably going to be as many Transformers spin-offs, even though they're definitely making that Bumblebee movie, so let's not get our hopes too high. If you remember, there were trailers, I guess last summer or something, for a movie called Before I Wake, and if you thought that probably came out and I didn't see it, so who gives a shit? Little did I know, it never came out because the studio that was going to release it went bankrupt, and it hasn't really gotten a US release or a theatrical release. We'll see what happens to it, or if Netflix is going to buy it up or somebody. But interestingly enough, yes, it did not actually get released. It was from the director of Oculus, which did get released, but Before I Wake never got released apparently. So that was kind of interesting. I didn't know that. There's a really great GQ interview with Steven Soderbergh about how he financed and made Logan Lucky, and it's a great read if you like Steven Soderbergh and you're like me and you're super excited for him to come back, and explains the financial things behind that, which sounds like kind of move that only someone like, Steven Soderbergh could do, but it's still an interesting read nonetheless, so you should check that out. This is from Movie Pilot, who doesn't always have the most source-wise, but I think it's an interesting interview with Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige, where she sort of reveals that all the Spider-Man spin-offs are in the MCU, including Venom and all that, and you can see his face like, fuck, bitch, I wasn't gonna bring that up until we got these movies more off the ground, what the hell? There's all these memes of him, like his face, when she just reveals it all of a sudden, is really, really funny. So, that was Movie Crap this week. There wasn't a ton of news, but there's enough in there, sort of, I guess. Anyway, in the past week, I did a bunch of videos. There was the Emoji movie review, my UK trip video, another Mystery Science Theater review of Wizards of the Lost Kingdom 2, an Okja review, which went up last night, a new Pizza Party podcast, so I'm back on that, as you know. Also, this is a shirt from the Oh the Anthem podcast, who sent me this shirt, which was really nice of them, but you should check out Oh the Anthem also, and I will I'm going to link them just because they gave me the shirt, so I'll link them in this video. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching as usual. Comment below if you'd like to comment about any of the stories I covered within this video. Thank you very much for watching, and subscribe if you would like to.